y'all. This is Pam at Pink Dragonfly Wingz, and as promised, I am going to do Magic Monday, week 7, the video today. I will post it next week for Valentine's Day, but I'm going to be out of town that day, so I wanted to go ahead and get it done so I didn't miss a day. So, we're doing this video at the same time we did the other one. So, well, not at the same time, but you know, you get it. Since it's Valentine's Day, I wanted to do some kind of little Valentine's Day thing. And someone, a couple of years ago, or I'm not even real sure how long, sent me this in a Valentine card for Happy Mail. And thank you for that. You know who you are. And I want to try to reproduce one for our junk journal. I don't know back in the day how much they celebrated Valentine's Day, if it was a big deal or not at that point. But we're going to celebrate it, and our junk journal is going to have a Valentine heart in it. Maybe not quite as red as this one, but we're going to give it a whirl. All right, so I used this one as a guide, and I made a template, and I want 4 pages. This is going to be the back cover, which I'm going to make out of this. I know it's green, but I really like this side, and this side could be interpreted to be a beautiful love letter, and I just love this side, and so we're going to have that side. So we're going to cut the back cover, which is the biggest heart, out of this paper, and then we're going to alternate this for the first page. Maybe we'll do out of this, and then we'll do this, and then we'll do one out of this. I don't know. We'll see. We may not have enough paper to do it out of this. We may have to do it this way. But anyway, we're going to have 3 writing pages, and we could glue one on the inside of this and cover up most of that green. That'll work. All right, so let's get started. So let me find a place to put my papers, and that I can maybe find them in a minute when I get ready. And we're going to start with this. Now, this is going to be our cover. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to quite fold it in half. It doesn't need to be quite that wide. And save as much of the paper as we can. So we'll do it about right there. And we're going to fold this in, crease it. And we want it to be a really good crease, because we want it to lay down as flat as it can. What we're going to do with this is we're going to use this as a hangover over the edge of our page and do it like this. Okay? So that's the plan. So we're going to cut this one out, and this is going to be our cover. So let's get this and cut away, cut away. And I made this one a little longer than the one I received, mainly because I wanted it to cover the whole length of a page in our journal. Okay, we're done with that. We can put that in our paper pile. And now we have this little heart. It's not perfect, but we're going to cover it up. So, now, there's our crease. We've done this one. We need to make this one just a little bit smaller for our paper to go inside. And I think I would like to have the pink as the top layer. So we'll start with the coffee dyed paper as our first layer, then the pink, then a coffee dye, then a pink. That sounds good to everybody. So So let's get started on that. Let's make another one of these. It can be just a little bit smaller. And so I'm going to cut. I'm not really very good at doing things down the road and figuring out, spatial relations in school was one of my weakest areas. Sometimes I just don't see the big picture down the road. So what I'm going to do is cut this one out, and this is the same size as our cover. Now, this is just the way I have to do it. I'm sure other people know how to do this better, and you can leave this step out if that's the case. But for me, this is the way I'm going to do it. So this is the same size as this. And so we don't want it the same size because we want it to show a little bit of the green. So now that I've got this cut, I'm going to go back around the edge and cut off just a little bit all the way around this. Like I said, I'm sure there's an easier way to do this, but we all kind of have to do things the way we do them. So there we go. So now it's a little bit smaller, and it's going to cover and give us some edging around here. Okay? Now, so we can cut this off just a slight bit because I didn't get it too terribly rounded. That's a little better since I have a little room here. So we've got that one, and we've got the second layer. There we go. Now then, this is our cover and our first layer. This is our second layer. So we're going to fold this one in half. I may have some paper in here. Let's look before I cut this and see if I have some lined paper that is printed on both. I don't want cardstock though. That is printed on both sides. And sometimes I print on cardstock and sometimes I print on regular paper. And I'd really think this would work better on just regular copy paper. Now there's some red and orange. That might work. That would actually look fine. So let me grab a couple of pieces of that. And we'll use that pink instead of the other so that when we get it put together, the recipient or whoever is writing in the journal can write on both sides. I'm not going to worry about this too much, so I'm not worried about saving it that much. And so let's just cut this. Now this one, I can cut the same size as the template because I made them to stagger. So let's cut this one out. And go right on around the edge. And we have our second layer. Alrighty, let's make sure it's cut down enough. So we have one, we have two. We could even cut this down just a little bit more, just to make it kind of be the same. So this is kind of trial and error. I don't measure. Wouldn't have the foggiest idea how to measure for a heart anyway. So we're going to do it like this. There we go. there's our inside. So we have one writing page, our cover, our second writing page. We're going to do our third writing page, which is this one, and it comes out of coffee dye. So that's not going to be big enough, I don't think. I don't know, we might get it out of that. I don't think so, but let's give it a whirl. Okay. No, not quite. Okay, well, we'll save that for another project at another time, and we'll get us another sheet. So we'll do this one out of here. Cut that one out and go right on around. Oops, that one has a little point on it. Hearts don't have point. Of course, my older grandson that lives with me, I have three grandsons, and he would get mad at me because this is not how hearts really look. He would rather have the anatomically correct heart. Well, I think that's kind of gross looking, so we're not doing it that way. So we're going to put all this right over here. And maybe we might get lucky enough to get this. Look at that. Isn't that cute? All right, so we'll get this one out of here. Over, so we saved a sheet of paper for another project on another day, and that's our fourth little page. So we have our fourth little page here. So we'll do this one, and we'll do this one, and this one, which will be glued to the cover. And that's going to be our Valentine book. All right, so before we get started on anything else, let's ink these edges up, because, you know, we always ink, or I do. So, and then the person who sent me the prototype here used lace around the edge, but I wanted to do something a little different. So I found this little string of plastic flowers, and so I'm going to see how that will work on the outside of our heart. We'll see how it works. If not, we can always go back and do lace, but I use lace so much because I love lace. And you know, I'm not a really girly girl. I don't really get into really lots of lacy things, clothes, and that kind of thing. And since I've had my breast surgery, the lace kind of tends to irritate my skin. But I love using lace on other things, and to me it just makes it look more elegant and maybe rich. Because I was never rich. Came from a pretty poor family, single mom. And a dad that didn't do a whole lot to help, so, but that's okay. That's okay. Life turned out great. Everything is great and wonderful. So, my mom is still alive and thinking about moving to Colorado to be with me. So, that will be awesome. So, there's that one. Let's get the next one, and we'll go ahead and glue this one down because this one is going to be on here. I guess we could not glue it down and have this as a space to write as well. That might be even better. Then we'd have 5 writing spaces in this one little heart. That might work pretty good. So we may look at that. This is really the most time-consuming part of almost any project, is inking, because you have to go around the sides basically twice for each piece. And I really like the dark ink because it makes it look stained to me and old, and I like that. So I tend to have a heavy inking hand. If you don't like that look, then certainly make yours a little lighter. That's fine. This is all about making what you like. I'm just giving you a little idea, and you take it, you make it your own. That's what we do. And you know, I see so many videos on YouTube, and you may find 5 different people that are basically making the same project, but they all look so different because everybody puts their own twist on it, their own style. And I haven't really developed a style yet. I haven't been doing this long enough. I guess the one thing that I do a lot of is doilies, lace, and ink. But that's not really a style. So, you know, get on YouTube, get online, check out other people, see what they're doing, how they make their things, and then you develop the style that most fits you. And sometimes our style is kind of limited by products and what we have availability to. Well, that one is still just a little bit. Let's cut that off just a little bit more down here at the bottom so that it shows a little bit more of that page behind us. That means we have to ink it again, but that's okay. I didn't ink the other side anyway, so there we go. Sometimes we make mistakes because it's trying to, our conscience is trying to tell us, hey, you messed up, you left out something. And so sometimes it's a good thing. So just go with it. Go with the flow. Learn to laugh at yourself. Have fun. Okay, that's better. That is better. Okay, let's get started on this page. We have 2 more pages to ink. And I am going to venture out and try something new today because I have been watching lots of videos of sewing, people sewing in junk journals and those kinds of things. And I'm not what I would call an expert sewer. I've made a few quilts in my day, but most of those were hand done. I do not know how to machine quilt. But my husband was a band director for forever. And a couple of times I kind of got snookered into making band uniforms. Actually, not band well, yeah, I did make band uniforms one time. We were at a small school in North Texas, and they needed band uniforms, and it was a relatively poor school district, and we needed them so badly. And so we went to the school board and said if we would make them, would they put money back to be able to buy new uniforms in like 4 years. And they agreed. And so we all got together and we made these uniforms. Some people cutting, some people sewing, some people sewing on snaps. We had all kinds of people. And we made like 150 uniforms for this little group. And they wore them so proudly for 4 years. And at the end of those 4 years, of course, my husband and I moved on and went to another school, as band directors and coaches tend to do. And that next year, they were able to buy new uniforms. And I always took such pride in that because I had a part in that. And that was really, really cool, and it warmed my heart. So, okay, back to our heart here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to line these up on that dark brown line in the center. And since we decided not to glue this down, I'm going to do it this way. And then we'll put our cover on. And I'm going to step over to my sewing machine and stitch this right down the middle. And when I come back, if I come back, then you know it worked. If I don't come back, you'll never see this video to even know. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. It worked. We got a little straight stitch right down the center of our book. Is that not cute? So I'm going to try to incorporate sewing a little bit more. But when I do, I have to pause my video because my sewing machine is on the other side of the room, and I don't have room to bring it over here on my table. So I have to turn the video off or pause it, except I don't know how to pause it, so I just turn it off. So now then, for our last step here, we're going to try to put these little pearlized flowers on here. And the thing is going to be the center right here. So I think I'll try my best to get this center in here and measure it as best I can so that this will come out down at the bottom. All right, so let's set that right there for the moment and measure. Come on, little baby. And then we should have plenty, but I always know how that works. So we're going to scoot over a couple of flowers, and we're going to start right there with that one. So we're going to do our glue. And we're going to get this one set. Okay. Then this one, this is sewn or stuck together somehow with a little thread, so they are able to be manipulated a little bit. Not a whole lot, but enough. And so we're going to finish gluing and go all the way down. Now we're not going to put anything in the center because the center is where we want to overhang. So we're not going to bulk that up any. We don't want it to add any extra bulk to our book. So we're just going to put this around, and I want the little brown edges that we inked on the card to show just a little bit behind that, so it adds a little dimension to the flowers. This may be hard because you get glue on your fingers. So let me use my little handy dandy spatula thingy here and turn this around and go this direction. And it worked out perfect. I'm glad we put two extra little beads because we needed that extra one. We only have one that's too big. We'll cut that one off in a minute. So now we're going to do our other side. We're going to go right around the edge, down to the corner. Got a little wild with that glue, so I'm going to wipe a little bit of that off. All right, here we go for the last one. We're going to go around the corner. Get our little spatula. I think I need to clean my spatula. It's got a lot of glue on it. Okay, I'm going to put that on there so it'll hold it. Come around the edge. And coming down the straightaway. Holding it just while it grabs. It grabs very quickly, so it's not too much of a process. So now my flowers are trying to turn on me and glue themselves down. And then we're going to cut this one off right here because we don't want to overlap them. That is going to, let's go ahead and cut this one off. This is just an extra. We'll save it and put it in our bucket and use it for something else. And we might be able to pull this ever so slightly and even cut off another little pearl here, because those are kind of overlapping ever so slightly. So let's do just a little ooching here. Let's see if we can ooch ever so slightly. And put that one right there. Perfect. Perfect. Now we have our little heart insert with our pages on the inside. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 pages of journaling in here. And you could write poems, you could write words, you could put pictures, you could do whatever makes your heart happy. Let's fold those down just a little. They're kind of a little over the edge. All right, so there we go. Let's get our journal and see where we want to put this. Now this is not going to be very big when it's folded over, so maybe one of our shorter pages in here. I know we have some somewhere that are not quite as wide. Oh, like that one. There's one. So we can put this and put it right on here. And get a paper clip. Let's see what kind of little fancy paper clips we have. I have a whole bucket of them somewhere, but I don't really know. Here's just a big, pretty gold one. Let's just use this. And we could decorate this and make it the paper clip itself a little more Valentine-y. But that'll hold it in. And there we go. We have Magic Monday number 7 done. Thank you so much for staying with me and hanging out. I will see you again next week. Please visit my store at pinkdragonflywingz.com. I am in the process of learning how to put links in my comments that I do on my YouTube channels. So if I can figure out how to do that, I will link the store and then you can just go right straight to it. So wish me luck, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye. I'm back again. I had another thought. When I tried to put our little deal in here, because this flower up here does not matter too much because it's flat for some reason. This one was sticking up. So what I did is I took that last little pearl right here. Let's put it over here so you can see it. And I cut it in half. And this is the other half. And I'm going to glue it right where it was supposed to be. I'm going to basically glue the flower back together. And let it go for just a tad. And then that crease will work perfectly with our little flowers so that it does not stick up. And I thought, well, somebody else might have realized that when they made this. So when you open it up, you see the full flower, but the flower is cut in half so it lays flat when you put it in your journal. So that's just a little extra commentary. So I'll add that in, and we'll see you next time. Bye.